Good evening, everyone, and welcome to On the Rise. I'm your host, Mike Feinberg. With me, as always, my partner, David Shore. How you doing, David?
Good, bro. How you doing?
Good to see you, buddy. We got Armando Gonzalez, Gerardo Ramos here in the background as well. And hey, man, we missed last week, but we're back. We're back in action. We got a lot of stuff to tell you about the new fight card we got coming up here. It's only 11 short days away, David.
It's right around the corner.
We're right there, man. You look like you lost a lot of sleep trying to put this fight card together.
I think I have. It's been a lot of interactions, and honestly, by talking to so many fighters, we're going to be rolling through the rest of the year with a lot of fights. So
that's good. Yeah, I know you said you were way overloaded with this July card. You got September already going.
Right.
You almost have that one completed.
It's true.
So you say you talked to 33 fighters today? Is that what I heard you say when you walked in?
Just this morning, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we got everybody coming out there. Guys, look, if you're interested, you want to be a fighter, you want to get out there, we got these amateur guards going on. You know, you don't have to have a tremendous amount of experience, but you have to show us that you got some skill, some ability, that you've been training for this kind of thing. If you want to fight, you can contact David. You know, you can go onto that Facebook page that he's got. Tell them again, once again, how they find it.
It's RIZE Fighting Matchmaking. You can just go to groups, RIZE Matchmaking, and you'll see us. But more or less, we're looking for the best. You know, not just the best in the state, but the best in the United States. We have guys that have undefeated records. We're really trying to put that, put the best performances on that we possibly can. So, you know, if you think you're good enough and you think you're the best in your state or best in your county, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll set you up and put you up for some tough competition. Because, you know, the higher you get up, the less, the less easy it is. So you might as well test yourself while you're in amateurs, and you know, we want the best. So if you're the best, please contact us.
That's what the amateurs is all about, just like you're saying, right? It's all about just trying to learn and understand it better. Again, you know, we're not going to bring anybody, put them in a ring or put them in a cage that have no skill or no ability or any understanding of the sport. But you know, you got to show some fight tape, you got to show some skill, you got to talk about the gym you're working with if you have one, and you know, let us know that you are capable of actually performing the sport, and you know, we'll match you up.
Like Adams, that's going to be on the card. You know, they have a lot of self-belief. You know, even Trap Gambino, there's self-belief, self-value, self-worth. You know, they want to prove it all. And like I said, this is kind of like my idea of what this card's going to be about, is just showing what you're worth, and you know, instead of talking, you know, be about it.
Yeah, I know at this point, I mean, you know, I think we had too many fights on the card. You try to cut it back down and shave it off and move it over to the September card. Last I checked, I think we had somewhere around 13 or 14 fights on this card. Mm-hmm. So remains to be seen if we shave that down just a little bit, just for the sake of actually having that right kind of, just the right amount of fights, mm-hmm. You know, come July 17th. But, you know, look, we're only 11 days away from it. This is where all the tweaking comes in. The fighters are already there. It's just a matter of, you know, putting the right skill set together and making sure that, you know, it gets cut right. And July 17th goes off without a hitch.
Yeah.
So, you know, what we're going to do, just quickly, is because we are going to get into this card quite a bit. But before we do that, we do want to jump into the promo for our upcoming July 17th event that we are talking about. So please take a look at that real quick while we step out, and then we'll be back with you. We'll let you know a little bit more about what's going on. We'll be back in a minute. All right, everyone, and we are back. Hopefully you got a chance to check out our new promo for that event coming up. Guys, July 17th, right around the corner. Tickets are on sale. Last time we met up, it was before July 1st. Mm-hmm. We didn't have the tickets on sale yet. They are on sale now, so if you haven't checked that out, do so now. You got to jump on that app, RIZE FC, RIZE FC. Check that out, download that, buy those tickets. Again, you can also view the fights right there from the RIZE X section of the RIZE FC app. Of course, July 17th, We'll let you know exact start time as we get a little closer to it, because it might be tweaked just a little bit. But those first couple of fights that are going to be on that card are going to be absolutely free to you. So if you want to just test the waters and see what we have to bring and what we have to offer, you can do so that night. Check out that RIZE X app. Check it out on Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV. And then if you like what you see after those first couple of fights, go ahead and purchase the rest of the card. It's only $4.99. It won't break the bank. Pretty simple. And it'll also give you the content for the next 30 days as well, absolutely free. You'll be able to watch it back and replay as we post that and edit. You'll also be able to find out some more things about the fighters. And that app is chock full of information.
Yeah.
You know, besides information about the fighters, if you yourself do want to be a fighter and you don't want to go to David's a Facebook app or Facebook page, should I say, you can go to the app as well. You can also sign up as an application right there. At that point, you know, he'll get through it. Either he or Armando will contact you, and you guys will have a conversation about what your skill set is. Also, you know, we are changing the face of some of the cage girls here and there. If you're interested and you want to be a cage girl, there's also an application to sign up to show what modeling ability you have, and that, you know, you can submit some pictures and you can be a cage girl. You know, we might see one of the future events walking around the cage.
Right.
Each of these fights keep getting bigger and bigger, especially now that they've restricted, or loosened the restrictions, I should say, with the COVID restrictions. So we are going to have our fight event back again at Extreme Action Park in Fort Lauderdale, like we did last time. There will be more seats available. There will be more tickets to be sold. And I'm sure the next time up beyond that, there'll be even more and even more until we have a completely packed house, elbow to elbow, when it's safe to do so.
There's also rankings on the app as well.
That's right. Yeah, you guys started tweaking that. I saw some of that stuff too when I jumped in there. So, you know, we don't have a lot of the higher weight guys because we haven't had a lot of those higher weight fights. So, you know, if you yourself, especially if you're a cruiserweight, you're a heavyweight, anything like that, hey, jump in. You know, there's room for you.
I think I have 4 to 6 guys lined up for the September fight. That's a heavyweight. You know,
okay.
So potentially, we're gonna have some heavier boys coming, and we have Trap Gambino, who's the super heavyweight. So we're reinforcing the cage.
Yeah, and speaking about that, you know, some of those fighters. So I actually have the fight card here right in front of me. You know, some of these things, like I said, are tweaks. I'm only going to go into some of the names of who you'll see and some of the matchups that I know that are locked in, so forth. There's a lot of guys to talk about, so we can't go through all of them, but I do want to mention some of them. Of course, you know, vying for the featherweight title, we are going to see Christian Esquilin coming back, right? He's 4-0 overall. He's 3-0 here with RIZE, and he's looking to try to take that featherweight belt home.
Yep.
So LJ Wilson, the return of LJ Wilson as well, 3-0 here with RIZE. He's coming back at lightweight. You know, he's ready to just do some devastating work once again, like he's been doing each and every time. We'll see what his opponent has to say about that one. And at super heavyweight, you mentioned Trap Gambino is going to be taking on Arthur Biggie Suggs.
Yep. We
had both the guys on the show about 3 weeks ago. You know, they're nothing but respectful to one another. You know, say what you want to say about Trap Gambino, but you know, he was always very polite and very respectful to his opponent and everybody with us. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if there's a dark side to him, I haven't seen it yet. But whatever that is, whatever they say.
You can tell he's working too. I mean, if you look at his training videos on social media platforms, he's in the gym more than I am, and I try to be in the gym quite often. So I give him credit that he's building his skills and he's taking everything serious. He's a vegan, which is more than I can handle as well. You know?
Right.
So I give him credit on that aspect too. So this guy's taking it serious, and he's just like that guy Jack. You know, these guys have been anticipating their debut for quite some time, have done grappling matches, and you know, just trying to put all his skills together to be the complete fighter.
Right. So yeah, we're looking forward to that one. You know, it's going to be the first RIZE super heavyweight match that we've had, and we're going to see how that works itself out. Like I said, reinforce it just a little bit, the cage, and we'll kind of see how that one goes. So you know, we're looking for some big shots between these two guys, and you know, we'll see who's left standing by the end of the fight.
I'm not sure how tall Suggs is. He seems like a big guy.
Yeah, he's a tall guy, but we didn't get that stat. You're right,
yeah.
The last time we spoke with him. So hopefully we'll get that information out to you guys maybe by next week.
Right.
You know, we'll try to make a note of that. You can remember after the show. So, you know, going on with the card, you know, we've got Lucas Rosan. He's taking on Nick Longoria at featherweight. If you saw Lucas, of course, you saw first time out, you know, he showed all that wrestling skills that he has. And second time out, he showed that he's tweaked his striking skills quite a bit.
Right.
And I know that's a focus that he's, you know, really, really trying to focus on at this point, trying to move over to his next fight as well. So we'll see, you know, what he's been able to do. And if Nick Longoria poses a problem for him, I'm sure that's his intention all along, right? We also have Ronnie Levine making his return back. He's going to be taking on LaCarvier Adams. These guys are going to be fighting at lightweight. You know, Ronnie Levine was kind of a crowd favorite last time.
Right.
He put on a great performance. You know, he probably rated a 10 out of 10 based on his skill set, what he did last time out. So let's see if he can repeat.
Adams actually is coming off a finish in I believe the second round in May. So you know, he's game and he's really excited. And he's another guy that's just really, really positive.
Yeah.
He might be a motivational speaker because he talks to me for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I feel like going for a jog. Just, you know, I'm inspired. So this guy, you know, he's definitely a showman and he's really excited to put on a show. So I can't wait to see that. It's one of my favorites I'm looking forward to.
Okay, so that's what you got circled on that list then, huh?
It's one of them.
So it's going to be interesting. You see that, and that's what it's all about. You know, everybody taking on just that, you know, little tougher opponent each and every time they step into a cage. Yep. So that's what it's all about, and that's what the learning lesson is all about in amateurs. We're going to see Ryan Ocasio coming back again. I know you were kind of hype about him last time we spoke.
Yeah, I honestly, his whole story is incredible. When you come from somewhere like New York, like he mentioned, and came down to Florida, he's living in a trailer. Obviously, you know, he has a job, working full-time and training full-time, and he's just trying to make ends meet and trying to become, you know, a great fighter, even better than, you know, his skills already show.
Right.
I give him credit. I keep saying that, but like I said, that's my kind of, you know, it's inspirational to me knowing that if I have any issues, you know, what's that compared to moving across the country or going somewhere and trying to chase your dream?
Yes. And I hope, Ryan, you got a chance to speak with your grandmother after the last show because we talked about that. So don't forget to call Grandma. And beyond that, you know, we have Giovanni Gomez taking on Corey Jacobs. So, you know, two veterans here with RIZE at this point. They both fought first, you know, on numerous occasions. And curious to see what they can do and bring to the table. You know, between them, they only have one loss between them.
Yeah.
You got undefeated fighter in Giovanni Gomez and one loss.
I like how on the app it says, I think it says Conquerors, and you know, he calls himself the Aztec Warrior. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like some gladiators going toe to toe. He had, I'd say, he almost was a third of the crowd was for Gio, so he has a strong support system, and
yes,
you know, he's definitely a crowd pleaser for sure.
Yeah, I believe you. You know, I believe that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of noise going on a fight particularly, and that may be one I have circled on my list right here, to be honest with you. Just because I know the skill set from both of them, and
right, you went against Vinny, and he looked pretty good striking, and you know, on top of his wrestling.
Yep. So it's going to be, you know, you're going to have to figure out all the facets, everything that they've got. They're going to have to bring it all together, and just lay it out there and show that they've, you know, they're not one-dimensional. They're going to show all the dimensions that they have that night. So it will be a good fight, I think, to bring out the best in each of those guys. You know, as a strawweight, our female, the first female fighter that we had win here with RIZE, Ludi Alves. She'll be back again. She'll be taking on Rebecca Torres at 115 strawweight. We're looking forward to seeing what.
That's another one I have circled. You know, Ludi's a beast, training all the time, and then we have. I just took a shower, so it's not me. It's not the reason why flies are after me. But yeah, so we have and Riva Torres. You know, I follow her on social media, and this girl's running on top of running and training and killing it. You know, looking like a monster. I'm really excited to see that. I believe it's Ludi's debut to MMA. I believe Reba is 1-0. So they're both going to show what they have, and you know, potentially a few fights down the road. It'll be nice to have a strawweight champion for women for RIZE.
For sure.
It's one of our goals is to line that up, and actually a lot of 115ers been reaching out. So
yeah. You know, like you said, Ludi's debut at MMA, because again, that was a kickboxing match that she had last time out when she had that first victory here with RIZE. And we do have a couple other kickboxing matches that will be kickboxing matches this time around. And those are the aforementioned fights that we talked about that will be the first ones on the card that will be free. It's on your finger.
Oh, good.
That will be free before we actually start going to the pay part of the app. And those fights will be Andy Sachs taking on Daniel McElroy. That's at lightweight, 155. And Eric Lopez will be taking on Jerson Talise, I believe is how you pronounce his name. And they will be fighting at lightweight as well at 155. So it could be a situation where, you know, winner of each of those fights maybe takes on each other the next time out on the September card when we get to that card. But Eric Lopez, we saw, you know, all the ability that he had the last time he came out. He fell just short, unfortunately, but he put on a great performance. So we love to have him back again. We want to see if he, you know, he can prove again that he deserves to be in a cage and you know, be a fan favorite.
Yeah, and he's another guy I follow on social media, and this training is insane. You know, it's just funny when people are like, "Oh, 7 miles, light work," you know, and I'm like, "Oh my God, you know, 7 miles, I'd have a hard time." So it's gonna be exciting.
Right. And then we got a couple other cards that kind of came together a little bit later that we have to kind of work into the list itself. But Oscar Lacayo is going to be taking on Anthony Hernandez, and Israel Hernandez is going to be taking on Fidel Solis. So we're going to see these 4 guys in action as well on next Saturday. And look, I mean, it's a pretty stacked card. I didn't go through everybody because I left out a couple of the opponents that we have. We're still trying to tweak and change. But look, you still got that belt on the line, you know, over there at featherweight. You know, we're looking forward to seeing who can take the reins and grab that featherweight belt.
Right.
It's vacated now, so we want to see who can be our new champ. So very, very stacked card. You know, I know you guys put a great job putting that together. I'm looking forward to seeing what we can come together with that. So what we're going to do real quick is, you know, we're going to break real quickly, talk about that app just a little bit. We do have that promo spot that we want to show you guys. And on the flip side of that, we'll go back, we'll kind of recap this card just a little bit, talk maybe more in detail, more depth, and we'll also talk about the aforementioned guy, the parkour guy,
right.
when we come back. We'll be back in just a minute, guys.
Jason, the article. Oh! Are excited and fans for the second bout of RIZE.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you got a chance to take a quick look at that app. Again, RIZE FC, guys. If you have not heard me say that a million times before, you're hearing me say it now. RIZE FC, download that either from your Android or your Apple phone, any device. You'll be able to see all the things we're talking about. You'll see the fight card come together. You'll see some information on the fighters. You can register as a fighter yourself. You can apply to be a cage girl, and you will be able to see these first two fights for absolutely free on that RIZE X link right there on the app. And after that, you like what you see, go ahead and pay the $4.99, and boom, you're going to have this whole stacked 12 to 14 fight card right at your fingertips on July 17th, right around the corner, guys. This will be one of the best fight cards RIZE has ever had, so you don't want to miss this one. You know, and to say you missed it because you didn't want to pay the $5, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to say at that point. You want to do that, of course. Hey, nothing more exciting than actually coming out and being out for the fight itself. You know, we still have general admission tickets at $35. If you're somewhere near the Fort Lauderdale area, or even if you're not, you want to make the trip down. The weather's nice right now. They said something about a hurricane. I don't see a drop of rain out there, David, so I don't know what's going on.
We have like a shield around us.
Pretty much. Nothing's going on down here, guys. It's nice weather right now. So come on down. $35, you can get good seats. $45, or even doing the first 3 rows. I think there's still a couple seats available there. We got tables available as well. I think it works out to be about $60 a seat, but you're ringside to that table, right, for that price. So, hey, there's no, there's no bad seats. There's no bad seats. So anyway, just before the break, we were talking a little bit about the fight card, and then we mentioned that there's another guy, and I'll jump to him, and then we'll kind of go back and break down the card again.
Sure. And
so this guy that you located, he's going to be on our September card.
Right.
He goes by the name of Travis Horn.
Yes.
He's from Vegas. He's a 125-pound flyweight.
Right.
And he goes by the, I guess, the name, The Balance Guru.
Right. That's his Instagram handle.
That is his Instagram handle.
Right.
Okay. So tell us how you kind of came upon him and a little bit about what you know about him.
Well, apparently a lot of people came upon him because he has a good following. And, you know, if you watch him, it's more inspirational stuff. I mean, I'm honestly self-inspired because I'm not the tallest guy. You know, I'm 5'7". He's like roughly 5'6", 5'7" or something. And he went from not being able to dunk to practicing, and now he's like touching the rim. And I remember being 10 years old saying, one day I'm going to dunk on everybody, and it never happened. You know, so I gave up on my dreams, and now my dreams may come a reality by watching this guy every day practice, and then now he's able to do that. But I mean, if you go to his Instagram, you can see him throwing footballs across behind a basketball court into the hoop, you know, and other real stuff that he's got going on. He's crazy jumping, like you said, parkour, kind of, you know, different displays, and he's all about self-belief too, which I appreciate. You know, he's very, very humble, and he also kind of looks like Conor McGregor. You know, he's all tore up, and you know, he has that kind of self-power. So. And I'm a big believer about self-belief, so I appreciate that kind of stuff, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in September, come out and see what he can do. But if he can, if he can climb waterfalls and do all this crazy stuff that he's got going on, I 100% am excited to see what he's gonna do in the ring. He even has like scenes with on his Instagram throwing a spear upside down, like doing a jump kick across the off a bouncing trampoline onto like a forward kick, hitting this guy. I don't know. Like I said, I've never seen anything like it, so I'm excited to see what kind of magical stuff he could put into the cage.
Yeah, we'll see if it connects back with MMA,
right?
The sport itself, and if he can be successful at that. That sounds pretty interesting. I mean, I'm interested to see him come out, and look forward to that September card. So again, it'll be on the September card. But jumping back to our July card here, so the guys we talked about, I know you mentioned to you, I think you said Biggie Suggs and Trap Gambino was one of the fights you had circled on your list. Mm-hmm. You think it's going to be more than interesting.
I really don't have any fights not circled. And we have some fights that we're not even announcing on this sheet that I'm really excited for. So, it's a treat to be so close to the ring and be part of the commentary, to be able to experience all these fights live action, watch people walk into the ring. If you've never been to a live event, you're missing out. Obviously streaming is great, but there's nothing like the feeling and the appreciation you have for these fighters going into the ring, showing everything they've been training for. And when it comes to amateur, it's only 9 minutes, and guys are training their whole lives for this kind of stuff.
Right.
So your whole life's work down to 9 minutes, but could only be within 15 seconds. For LJ's case with versus Inman, it's exciting. Fireworks.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And being there in person, you actually feel the oohs and the ahs.
Right.
You really feel the crowd kind of get into it. There's a lot of things you don't get to see on camera. You see these guys walking out. You might see something interesting that comes through their camp as they're walking out together. You may see some things that are going on while the fight's going on where their corner is yelling something up that maybe you didn't pick up on the audio. And then, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, as they say,
right,
as they make their ring walk back out
right,
of the ring, back to the locker room. And
with like brotherhood and family and all that. So it's,
all that.
Yeah, it's all in one big package of MMA.
Right, you see the family, you see the emotion on everybody's face, and then the better part is that you see the earlier fighters come back out and join the crowd as they sit down to be spectators themselves,
right,
and you see the damage that maybe they've taken, and the warrior mentality, mm-hmm, I guess is the best way, and their battle scars.
Yep.
And it's just interesting to really be in the thick of it. So like you said, I mean, if you haven't been out to a live event at all, you really need to come out to one, mm-hmm, and none better to start than with a RIZE card, because again, it's very affordable, and it's a good time. It really is. And I mention this a lot because not to take anything away from some of these guys that are putting these fight cards together, but I got a fight card that I'm going to be going out to in Miami, and I get very annoyed that I got to drive that far out just to see it. It makes me wonder, should I or should I not do it? There was one last week. I didn't bother making the trip. This time around I'm going to do it because it's a friend of mine that's doing the promotion. There's a lot of fights on the card. I'm going to do it, but you know what? Why? Why are these fights always in South Miami? It doesn't make sense. People aren't really driving up from the Keys. Mm-hmm. So you got everybody within the Miami area that can drive 15 minutes out to watch the fight. You got people up in Palm Beach County, they're saying, I'm not driving an hour plus to watch it. Right. And I get it for free, and I won't even go. People aren't going to pay their money to drive all that way just to, come on. So you got to have something that's more centrally located. You got to find something. We got these at Extreme Action Park the last time out, this time out, probably the next time out as well. And so, you're in Fort Lauderdale. So you got people from Miami driving 35, 40 minutes from the south part of Miami. You got people driving from Jupiter, right, 35, 40 minutes, and that's it. You don't have people driving an hour and a half just to come down and see the fight in the South Florida area.
And you can do extreme go-karting and all these fun things, rock climbing before the fights get hyped up. There's plenty of cool action stuff going on in that park as well. I'm anticipating trying to get there early so I could play some games or something. Yeah,
they got food, they got drinks, they got everything you want to have out there. They got ample parking. You'll be fine. You're pretty close to either one of the highways. And you can make a day out of it. Mm-hmm. You're right. If you are traveling a little bit of a distance because you were going to do that anyway, right, why not do it to a place like this where you can have some fun beforehand,
Take your wife on a cheap date and then bam, fights.
That's the way to do it, man. That's the way to do it. Yeah, go on your date for a hot dog and a beer.
Yep.
And then there you go, fights. Oh, honey, I didn't know the fights were going to be here tonight.
Or 2.5 hours long. I thought we were just here.
Exactly. But no, it would be a good time. It is a good place. I'm glad we found this venue and we're starting to do some of the fights over there. I think it's enjoyable. A lot of people had mentioned that as well. So, But that's our fight card as it is. We're going to get into more of it next week again. We'll have it tweaked just a little bit. There might be a couple extra names that we throw in at you next week. Probably have some guests for you next week as well, because next week already is fight week.
Right.
It's fight week, man. So we'll do our show sometime early in the week like we're doing now. Then, of course, we're going to have the weigh-ins on Friday. That'll be at Extreme Action Park. And then we will have the event itself on Saturday night on the 17th at Extreme Action Park. So there's a lot of activity going on next week. Sorry we missed you guys last week, but hey, look, if you have any questions, any information you want to know more about the card that we haven't talked about, feel free just to go ahead and leave a comment right there, either through Facebook or YouTube, however you're watching it right now. You can reach out to David, of course, through the fight site that we talked about through Facebook. There's always ways to contact us, like we've always mentioned. But the key is not to miss these fights, because you will be disappointed that you missed a great fight card. So, that being said, let's jump into some other sports while we're at it.
Oh man, I'm excited for this UFC card. Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor, number 3. Obviously, it's 1-1 right now. They're both very, very exciting fighters, and it's going to be a great card. Greg Hardy's fighting on the card. What's his name? Ty, the Australian guy that drinks out the boot, he's going against, which is a very, very good opponent. Greg Hardy. Yeah, that's what I said. Greg Hardy versus Ty. How do you say the guy, his opponent? Tuivasa. So I would have butchered that. There's Wonderboy Thompson is going against what's the gentleman that challenged Usman? Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns, he's local as well, so I'm excited to see Gilbert. I don't know if I'm allowed to give predictions, but I think Gilbert Burns is going to take that one. I'm hoping Greg Hardy takes it as well. Greg Hardy's training right now with Rashad Evans, and he's been doing that for quite some time now, so he's probably improving by a lot. What other people are on the card? It's a great card. Sean O'Malley, one of my favorite fighters. He's very explosive. As long as his legs don't give out, he's really good. Supposedly that's a fluke, so hopefully he comes out and shows up. So
that's good stuff, man. Yeah. I mean, looking forward to those as well. Maybe we'll go out and take a look at Dustin Poirier training before he takes off.
I think he's already there, because it's Saturday.
Oh, it's already Saturday. Yeah, it's coming up soon. Yeah. You're right. He's probably done. He's done. He's gone over there. Yeah. You're right. Should talk about that. Well, if we had a show last week, we could have talked about that and gone over to see him. I know he does a lot of his striking coaches is Dia Davis, a friend of mine.
Exactly.
And we could have seen him. Mm-hmm. We'll see him after. How about when he comes back with the win? We'll go talk to him then. And hey, good stuff, man. UFC card. That's definitely a big one to watch. Coming this Saturday.
I'm actually going on vacation, so I'm going to be watching it on my phone.
There you go.
So we'll see.
Got to take a vacation this weekend, because you know what's happening next weekend.
Exactly.
And it's good, because you know what? Usually our fight card falls on some other fight night. There's always something else going on. But I got to tell you, I got a local fight card that I mentioned I'm going down to in Miami. It happens to be this Saturday. We got our fight card next weekend. Mm-hmm. And luckily, the following weekend, not on our weekend, is Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury Part 3.
Wow.
So definitely one of the biggest and most anticipated heavyweight matches in history. So very much looking forward to seeing that boxing match. And again, if you're not a big boxing fan, David, that's definitely a fight to watch.
Watch it for sure.
That's one to watch, because now I'm starting to hear things that Tyson Fury is now saying he's actually not going to get himself more in shape, but he's actually going to gain more weight. He's talking about actually trying to come into the ring at 300 pounds, just so he can have that advantage over Wilder, which really was the key the last time out. Wilder did everything right. Problem was he was trying to fight a guy that was 60 pounds heavier than him.
Wasn't the equipment the problem? He came
that
out
was
with the mask or something like that. It was too heavy or something. That's why I couldn't.
So they say. But
I'm going for America regardless. I like Fury's trash talking, but I love America, so it's still Wilder.
Nice to see Wilder kind of get back in the mix again for sure. And that's a toss-up fight. It really is. It's not very one-sided. A lot of people do think that Fury is going to take it again. Wilder's now fighting as the underdog. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's none too happy about that.
So Wilder win, it's going to be a 4? Is there a clause in that?
I mean, there should be one if they wrote it up right. I don't know if they're going to do that, but it does kind of put a big problem into what the future held for the heavyweight division, because Fury was supposed to fight Joshua twice. It's on a contract. Now, the interesting thing about that,
keep fighting each other to the end of time.
Interesting thing about that is in September, they've already set Joshua's next fight, which is against Alexander Usyk, who was the undefeated and unanimous undisputed cruiserweight champ of the world. And that guy's proven that he's, got some power bringing to the heavyweight division as well. That's not going to be an easy fight for Joshua. So I think Usyk is a better fighter than Andy Ruiz.
Right.
And if he can, find a way to get through that jab and, get away from that reach disadvantage that he's going to have, I know he's got a little more speed. I mean, Joshua may not be holding his hands up at the end of that fight. So wouldn't it be interesting if Wilder and Usyk were the winners in these next couple of fights? And then you're just throwing everything for a loop. But that's awesome, because then you got the opportunity for everybody else that's kind of there to kind of step in and do what they got to do. So many guys out there. And still waiting to hear more about, and Tyrone Spong, if you're listening, hey man, where are you? Because we're waiting to see your next fight. Where are you, man? Let's put you back in the mix too. You're a top 10 heavyweight. We'd like to see you come back and prove what you can do. He's undefeated, 4-2-0 with 13 knockouts.
Wow.
I just was reminded of the interview that we did with him because it was exactly a year ago. It just got reminded on Facebook. And hey, we want to see some activity out of that guy as well. We love these hometown guys that are making good. But heavyweight division is, pretty much wide open right now. By the end of 2021, we're going to have a clearer picture of who we're looking at. Other divisions, we're still looking to see what Canelo Alvarez is going to do in his next move. We don't know if he's going to take on Caleb Plant to try to unify some belts at super middleweight, or he's going to go back to light heavy, which he's now talking about doing. There's actually a really good fight coming up here. If I'm not mistaken, that may be this Saturday as well. Don't quote me on that, which is a friend of mine, Sullivan Barrera. He's taking on Zurdo Ramirez. And Ramirez, the undefeated, he was a super heavyweight champ, super middleweight champ rather. He's now fighting at light heavy, undefeated champion. And, I think Sullivan is kind of standing in his way. Supposed to be a gatekeeper of sorts, thinking if Zurdo can destroy Sullivan, that maybe he's ready to take on one of the big champs. I don't think it's going to be so easy. Sullivan doesn't want to go out without a fight. So some good fights, definitely some good fights coming up.
See, that's the difference between me and you. I like celebrity fights. I'm wondering what's up with Anderson Silva. He's obviously the GOAT, and he took out your boy Chavez.
My boy.
So I want to see Anderson Silva come back. I'm looking for Logan Paul tied the best. And we got Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. All those are my circles that I'm excited.
I know you like the celebrity stuff. I actually, when I was at BKFC, I was sitting with right behind Damon Feldman, who runs Celebrity Boxing. And, we're talking about it because I haven't really seen any big names.
Aaron Carter versus Lamar, that was interesting.
Yeah, but we haven't seen that kind of stuff. We want to see more of that kind of stuff. Back in the day, that's all we used to see.
Yeah.
Danny Bonaducci beating up on people.
Right.
We want to see more of that kind of stuff. And just sort of kind of fell by the wayside. So we're hoping that kind of comes back together. That's something that's based right here in South Florida, so most of the fights would be right here in South Florida. So put it back together. Let's see some of these celebrities come down and do it.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that, for the entertainment value of it. There's a fight card, the BKFC fight card that's coming up next in Tampa.
Right.
They got like 3 or 4 fights which are YouTubers fighting each other, or platform fighters fighting each other. One guy's name is Blueface. I literally have never heard of any of the people that are on that card.
I gotta see it.
But they're going to be fighting each other, so I'll show you the card later. That's making up, I think, 3 to 5 of the fights that are on that 14-fight card. So if you're interested in kind of stuff like that, I'd love to see these guys do it without gloves on.
Yeah, right.
And then they'll never do it again. I don't know what kind of money he's paying them to do that, but I guess it's enough if these guys are willing to do that. They're already making their money through YouTube or whatever else. That's really something. But no, as far as boxing concerned, man, I like to see the big name fighters fighting, but sometimes it's those guys you haven't heard of before that always make the best fights.
For sure.
But yeah, you're right. And if those guys are going to be fighting again, the Paul brothers and everything like that, yeah, you take on some real fighters. You took on a Floyd Mayweather, great. But why don't you take them on for real? Forget this exhibition nonsense. Let's follow the right kind of rules, the boxing rules.
And was that Logan's or Floyd Mayweather's? It was agreed upon, so they both chose it, right?
Yeah, they did it, and of course, Mayweather went with all the disadvantages, of course, with size and weight and so forth. But these guys want to call themselves boxers. Any of these guys want to call themselves boxers. You got to fight somebody in your weight class and fight a real skilled fighter. I mean, you're never going to survive.
Right.
It's not going to happen. I don't care if you're Jake Paul or whoever else. It's not going to happen. So I know you like that kind of stuff, but
I was just listening to Demetrius Johnson say that these YouTubers are training more than most pro athletes, just because a lot of pro athletes have to have a second job. These guys are millionaires doing this for fun 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So necessarily, who has the more advantage? Demetrius Johnson worked full time. Look at Stipe Miocic. He's a firefighter, and he was the champion for 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, if you only ate and slept fighting, you're going to be a monster regardless. So
That's right.
A lot of people underestimate these guys, but their work ethic is nasty. You know.
That's
So
right. That's right.
why I enjoy that. And then they're the underdogs, but they end up showing everybody out. So Tyron Woodley, you know, versus Jake Paul is going to be something.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a step-up fight for Jake Paul to see if he can take on somebody like that. And then we'll see, you know, can he take on, you know, some former MMA champ, former UFC champ, somebody like that? Can he take on somebody like that in a boxing ring?
Right.
And if you can do that and you can actually get through that guy, maybe it's time to take on some boxers now. You know, you got to start mid-range because there's no way he's going to beat a champion. So you got to start mid-range and you start working your way back up into it. That's how you build your career. It's just, it's going to go much faster for him because he's going to have the ability to fight anybody he wants because it's just going to be choose.
Sure.
Each of these guys want a piece of that purse. But if he's got it set up that way, that's the way his handler should be setting it up. Fight guys that don't have the boxing or striking ability yet. Then you start fighting guys that have a little bit, then a little more, then mid-level, mid-range boxers, former champions, over-the-hill fighters. Then you start fighting the real champions. You got Oscar De La Hoya out there, you know, who hasn't fought in forever, and he's like, I'm ready to take on somebody for a belt right now. I'm like, yeah, you're a guy that might be able to do it, but can you just warm up a little first? You know, I don't want to see you hurt. Just warm up a little first and then get back in there with these guys.
Yeah.
You know, you got this big Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao fight coming up. And a lot of people are giving Manny Pacquiao a lot of ability and a lot of credit for this. I actually think this is the fight that's going to end Manny Pacquiao's career.
I'm never watching Manny Pacquiao again. After that Mayweather fight with the injury, that was the worst fight.
Yeah, well, that was never supposed to be a good fight. Well,
Yeah,
I shouldn't say
trash.
it wasn't supposed to be. Boxing insiders would have thought that wouldn't have been a very good fight. It didn't match up well on paper.
Yeah.
You know, it's just two big names. We can talk about it. It's all about the names, but they'll still make the best fights. So, you know, Manny Pacquiao at 42 years old trying to take on Errol Spence right now. Errol Spence is not at his height. He's not at his prime. He still had that, you know, he had that big injury from the car flipping over 85,000 times or whatever it was. He's only fought once since then, maybe twice. Oh, he's fought twice. But he's not really back, I think, to full gear as far as I'm concerned. COVID slowed people down. But even where he is, in his limitations he might have and not be this prime, I still think he's better than Manny Pacquiao, even on his worst day. I think it's going to be very hard for Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao will get in there and he'll tag Spence a little bit here and there. It's nothing Spence hasn't felt before. He's been with some great champions. This might very well be the fight that ends Manny Pacquiao's career. I think he bit off a little more than he can chew this time around. Hey, Pacquiao's proven me wrong. How many times I've bet against that guy over the years? How much money I've lost because he's beaten the guys I never thought he'd beat? You know, Ricky Hatton and Oscar De La Hoya and Miguel Cotto, and my God, man, I don't even want to get into that stuff. But you know, boxing is back. There's a lot of good fights coming up. As I said, live fights down here this Saturday night at the Miami Convention Center, which is Road Warrior Promotions, which is Glenn Johnson's promotion. And then, of course, you got RIZE next Saturday, man.
Yep.
Nothing better than that one next Saturday.
Right.
Nothing else that I know that's on the docket. So make sure, guys, you download that app. You buy those tickets. You watch those first couple of fights for free. Come out and join us at Extreme Action Park in Fort Lauderdale on the 17th. We'll have the weigh-ins again live next Friday night. Before that, we'll put one show in there. We'll try to interview a couple of people that are going to be on the card so you get a little taste of what you're in for, the kind of training and regimen they've gone through to get to where they are. And that's, you know, that's our fight card and that's our show for tonight. No guests tonight, but next week, like I said, we plan on having some. Well, what else, David? How do we cap this off?
Like I said, if you're interested in fighting, you have a record, if you're hungry, reach out to me.
For sure. You know, we gave you the ways to do so. I would definitely listen. This is a great way for you to actually show your pedigree. We're getting a lot of big fan base behind it, so a lot of people will be able to see your fight. This platform, I mean, come on, it's almost incomparable. You know, you can do anything. You can be seen everywhere. We have, I haven't checked the last stat. I haven't talked to Armando about that before the show, but we're up to like about, is it 17, 18 countries that have already downloaded the app?
We had like 13,000 streaming at one time last event, and you know, we got Chap Gambino, who I seen one 2-minute clip from Dr. Phil that had 147,000 views. So I mean, you know, should be a lot of attention.
But you're up to like 17, 18, 19 countries now that are viewing it, and out of the country here, I think at least 38 of the states, I think it had already been downloaded. So look, you know, there's a big following, there's a big platform out here for you guys. You just have to prove that you do belong in a cage. We don't want you to see you hurt, so we want to make sure that you have some ability to get in a cage with somebody. We'll match you up with the right skill set, put you on there, and all your friends and family back home can watch you. So contact us for sure. Contact David, let him know you're interested. And that's our show for tonight. you know, we look forward to seeing you guys again next week. I can't tell you exactly which day we're going to put that one on together. We got to work our schedules back out, but we'll let you know about that prior to. And on the next show, we will talk about the time we'll plan on streaming the weigh-ins and the time exactly of the fight starting on Saturday night. And that's a cap. That's a wrap. That's a cap. That's a something, man.
That's something.
That's a wrap for the night with a cap and a wrap, as Armando said over there. Guys, have a great night. On behalf of Armando Gonzalez, Gerardo Ramos, David Shore, I'm Mike Feinberg. Take care. Stay safe.